So this lady works at a morgue, and while she was finishing something, her partner went to go pick up a body. She said that she finished earlier and her partner hadn't came back, so she went outside, and that's where she saw the cleaning lady who was also taking a break. Her and the cleaning lady are sitting there taking their break and just talking, when all of a sudden this guy comes up to them. She says that the guy looks at her and says, "Hey, it's my time, I'm gonna go, but you better leave me looking really good." She said that she responds to him like, "Oh my gosh, don't say that, you look so young." He responds to her saying, "Yeah, it's my time to go, please tell my family I say goodbye and tell them that I'm okay." So she looks at him and she's like, okay, fine, that's cool, but don't say that because you still have a long life to live. And she says that he just went about his way. So she continued talking to the lady, and she said that they lost track of time to the point where she didn't realize her partner had already came back. Her partner comes and says, "Hey, I got the body, I already put it on the bed, whenever you want to go and take care of it." So she's like, okay, gets up immediately, starts walking back, and she goes to the room where the body is. When she opens up that body bag, she says that she got chills from head to toe because it was the same guy that was outside talking to her when the cleaning lady was there. She was like, "No, I need to go get that lady. I need to go bring her here because no one's gonna believe me." She brings the cleaning lady. She's like, "I need you to see this body because I don't think anyone else is gonna believe me." So just a quick side note, before she went and got that cleaning lady, she was so in shock with seeing the guy that she was only able to open the bag up to his face. She says that the second this cleaning lady sees the guy's face, she got pale. She never came back to work. She quit and never came back.
I'm alone and you hear a knock, don't answer the door. That was my grandmother's one rule when she left me the family house. I thought it was just the rantings of an old woman. I didn't know how real the rule was until the other night. The house I inherited was deep in the forest, far from bustling city noises. Silence was the unspoken language here, except sometimes you would hear the owls. But the other night when I was sitting in the living room reading a book, that's when I heard it. There was a single knock at the front door. And then I remembered my grandmother's warning. If you're home alone and you hear one knock, don't answer the door. I looked over at my grandfather clock in the corner. It was midnight. I told myself that the knock was just a figment of my imagination. It was just the house settling, or a fallen branch against the door. But then it came again, a single solitary knock. But this time it sounded closer. I was panicking. I just stood there staring at the door. The third knock was so loud that it made the door rattle. There was no more denying it. Something was at the door.
Hey guys, welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny. So we are back to our normal, regular schedule program, which is our Spooky Sunday. We just had a whole month of spooky stories, which was every single day of spooky story, and I might continue that next year. We'll see. But we're back, and we have some scary stories to share with you guys today. So I hope you enjoy. Let me know what your thoughts is, or if you had a scary story of your own, and please let me know if you want me to share it or feature your story in the next spooky story, because I love to hear you guys' stories. If you live in a haunted house, y'all know I lived in a haunted house before and experienced living in Haiti.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all paid. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just.
I cannot believe that we are a week away from Halloween and I have not made a spooky story time about the house I grew up in, because bitch, this house included ghost children, it included fingernails, buckle up. So when I was 6, my mom met my stepdad. When I was 7, she got pregnant and we moved in with his family. Now his family lived in this 2-story house. They lived on the top floor. The bottom floor hadn't been used in God knows how fucking long. Okay, nobody had lived there in forever. And my mom, being the independent person that she was like, we're gonna take the downstairs, we're gonna live downstairs. And everyone was just like, all right, whatever. So we start heading downstairs, we're getting the place cleaned up, and when we first open the door, it's everything that you expect it to be. Okay, it hasn't been used in forever. It's dusty, it's gross, it's disgusting, it's everything. But the vibes immediately fucking off. Immediately off. Now, this entire house was carpet except for the kitchen and the bathroom. So this carpet is brown, and in hindsight, that carpet in itself was the biggest fucking red flag, because I shit you not, embedded in this carpet we found human fingernails, we found wax, and burn marks. So 7-year-old me is like grossed out. It's like, ew, what the fuck? And my mom's just like annoyed. She's like, oh, this is gonna cost so much more than we thought to get it cleaned up and whatever. So she hires a professional carpet cleaner, and dude comes in and he's like, oh, what the fuck? Like, he's never seen that before. He's like, dude, just get a whole new carpet. And my mom's like, yeah, that's not in the budget, so go over it 500 times if you have to, just get it as clean as you can. So dude does his thing, we leave. We come back the following weekend, and my mom looks at me, she goes, hey, do you want a birthday party, or do you want us to furnish and decorate your bedroom however you want? I've never been a party person, so I was like, dude, bedroom, obviously. She goes, okay, this is our bedroom. You can pick either that one in the front by the living room, or you can pick the one in the back by the kitchen, but the one in the front has a closet. So I'm like, ooh, okay, cool. So I start heading towards the front room, and immediately, I don't even make it through the archway before I'm like, no, I want the other room. She was confused. She's like, you haven't even gone into it. Like, why? What's going on? And I was like, no, you don't understand. I want the other room. I don't want this one. So she's like, why? What's going on? She starts heading in, and I grabbed her and I pulled her back. I was like, don't go in there. She looks at me. She's like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, in 7-year-old words, I'm like, what the fuck do you mean what's going on? Do you not feel that? Don't go in there. So she's like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And I explained to her like what I'm feeling, and she's like, your dad was really sensitive to paranormal stuff too. So luckily she immediately believes me, and she contacts our Catholic priest, who comes in and blesses this house up and down multiple times. And she's like, do you feel better now? I'm like, not really, but you know, it is what it is. So a couple years later, she has my other little brother, and unfortunately my 2 little brothers get that front room. They're in a bunk bed, and the brother who follows me has always said that when he was asleep at night, he felt like something would grab his feet and like pull him downwards. And he's always had nightmares about this place too. I remember that our like electronics will malfunction. Like my iPod Touch at the time would like get all fucked up, and I would be like talking, you know, like when I felt a presence, I would be like, hey, you know, if you're here, like make my volume go up or something, and my volume would be like it was wild. So then the other day I was talking to my mom on the phone, and she goes, oh, Chris had another nightmare about the house on 19th. And I was like, oh, what was the nightmare? And she goes, he dreamt that there was like a secret door in the closet in their room, and there was a staircase that led downwards to basically nothing. And I was like, I beg your finest pardon, because that has been my reoccurring dream since we moved into that house. She goes, you never told me about that. I was like, dude, there's so many spooky shit that happened in that house that like a scary dream was like the least of my worries. So my brother and I have coincidentally been having the same nightmare about that house forever. If you want to hear about the ghost children, the woman in the kitchen who were having some type of seance, who were speaking in a different language, and the possible DV, let me know in the comments and I'll make a series.
What would y'all do if your kid came to you and said, hey, there's a little girl that comes to my window with a scary face every single night. She's asking me to go outside and play with her, but I don't want to. What should I do? Unfortunately, I know what I would do, because I did it. When it started, my daughter just said that a little girl was coming to her window, and she would have random details, but it wasn't specific or scary. Then it started to get a little fucking spooky, and my daughter was like, Mommy, the girl with the really scary face is coming to my window telling me I have to go outside and play with her at night, but I'm not allowed outside at night, and I told her that, and she told me to come outside anyway, and I was like, oh my god, I think there's a ghost, oh my god. So I'm scared shitless, and I'm like, okay, just ignore her, and she's gonna go away, and she's like, all right, I'll try. Now my daughter's telling me the little girl is banging on her window at night, telling her she has to go outside with her right now and to not tell her mommy, and to go outside even though she's not allowed to, and she's being very assertive about it. And I'm like, that's fucking creepy, girl. So I had to come up with something kind of quick. I tell her, you need to tell the little girl to go away and never come back. You do not want to see her anymore. A la American Horror Story Season 1. She's like, all right, whatever. So a week goes by and I've not heard about it anymore. And I'm like, hey, whatever happened to that little girl who would come to your window? She said, I told her to go away and to never come back, and I never wanted to see her again. And she told me when someone tells her that, she has to listen. So she left and she never came back.
What is one of the creepiest things a kid has ever said to you? I'll go first. When my daughter was almost 3 years old, she told me and my godmother a story. We were at my godmother's house and we were working on a Halloween/birthday costume for my daughter. We're taking her measurements and cutting fabric, and she randomly looks at us and she asks us where her mom is. I tell her, you're being crazy. Like, I'm your mama. What are you talking about? Thought maybe she was confused because I call my mom, so maybe she's looking for her grandma. Well, I'm saying I'm your mama. She cuts me off and says, oh, she's dead. Me and my godmother are looking at each other like, what? My daughter told us my mom is unalive and I live with my aunt. And where's my aunt? I'm like, hold on, what are you talking about? She straight up tells us that she was alive in 1438. She's probably telling us some weird shit about a past life, so I start questioning her. She keeps making sounds that are like Thessaloniki, and she says that her name is Arthnasanya. I'm writing everything down because I'm like, this is freaking crazy and I don't want to forget it. Because she didn't speak very well, I don't know what the hell she was talking about. I tried to do research on the places and the names that she mentioned, but I couldn't find anything. So if there is a town called like Thessaloniki or something in 1438, let me know. She told me her aunt was really mean to her and that her aunt ended up unaliving too. And that was it. She just stopped talking about it. And I kept trying to like ask her more questions and she wouldn't say anything else. It was just like she had this little brain moment that just sped off a whole bunch of random information and then it completely shut off after that. She's 9 now and she has no recollection of any of this.
True creepy story time. So my sweet, sweet baby cousin Ella, when she was younger, she had friends that only she could see, but they were not imaginary. So one day she's at our grandparents' house in the living room watching TV with our grandpa, and as always, he was watching Star Trek. But her favorite show, Ni Hao Kai Lan, was about to come on, and so she asked if she could change the channel, and Grandpa made it very clear to her to not touch the remote. Of course, she was disappointed, but she was a little kid, and so she obeyed her grandpa and just watched the show with him. Eventually, Grandpa fell asleep, and then something really interesting happened. The channel changed on its own to Ni Hao Kai Lan. Ella was a little bit surprised and confused, and so she looked over at our sleeping grandpa and saw that one of her imaginary friends was standing behind him. And she realized that he was the one who changed the channel. Now, she knew the grandpa was going to be really upset if he thought that she changed the channel when he told her specifically not to. And so she looked at her friend and was like, no, change it back. But as she's having this argument with her friend, Grandpa wakes up, sees that the channel has changed, and got really mad at Ella. That was not the only time that Ella's imaginary friends interacted with the physical space around them. And if you want to hear more about those, you can check out my podcast, Stories with Sapphire.
I work in hospice. Spirits are real. I'm sorry. Ghosts are real. I'm gonna be the first one to tell you. One time I'm in this room on my own and I'm cleaning this body to be bagged. I'm the only one in there, right? I'm by the body. The bathroom call light starts going off, like ringing. And I'm like, so I walk in there, press the little button, turn it off. Walk back out there, starts going off again. I walk back in there, turn it off. I walk back out to the body and the call light, it's like next to her, is buzzing, like it's making a buzzing noise. They don't do that. They don't make that noise. I was like, bitch, the fuck? The time this girl that I work with is holding this patient's hand as they passed. And then when they like close their eyes, passed, took their last breath, she looks up at the light starts flickering. Like immediately, after the patient passed, light starts flickering. It don't do that. It don't work like that. Something was there. Not hospice, but I had this confused patient once, and he did not remember what he said 3 seconds ago. Like, he was not talking about the same stuff all day. He was super confused, right? 3 separate times throughout the day, he looks at me and asks me about the lady with long black hair standing behind me and not smiling. What the fuck do you mean, the lady with long black hair standing behind me and not smiling? Spirits are real. I'm sorry.
So I got tagged a million times in this video. Apparently this is a Serbian woman that just randomly dances in the streets, and anyone who goes up to her, she chases them down with a knife. Now they say that her main target are pregnant women and children. Apparently this is some sort of phenomena. My feeling towards it is that this is obviously a person that has been taken over by something very dark. And being that when I did my research, I saw videos of multiple different like females doing this in the middle of the road, makes me think that they have also been possessed by this same dark entity. I just felt like something was looking at me. But what do you guys think?